3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to another episode of Questlog. It's a weekly show about video games, old and new. My name is Tyler Everett, and this is episode 88. Joining me, my good friend, my compatriot, Brian Maxwell. How's it going, man?
Good. Good evening. Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday to you, sir.
Yep.
It's a Saturday. It's a Questlog day. It's a hot day. It was real unpleasant outside today, and I spent the majority of my day out there. Not as much as Aaron Kring, though. That's why he's not here today. And it's a one Luke Phillips' birthday today, so he's out celebrating that. And he might show up. He might not.
I was outside as much as I had to be to take the dog out, and I walked out there. I'm just like, oh no, get your shit done. Let's get out of this.
Walk out. Oh, yeah, nope, no, that's the ain't a me outside day. Yeah, I had a friend's kid's birthday party to go to, so went and did that.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, it was a real banger. It was got kind of wild. No, it was pretty tame, but it was fun. Shout out to Sean. Happy birthday to your little girl. It was a good time. Thanks for having us out. Yeah, you know, those are fun. You go out, you eat some food, you stand outside in the hot heat and sweat a lot. That's kind of what we did. So, I'm glad to be back inside in the nice AC where we keep it at a brisk about 60 degrees.
As God intended.
Yeah. Yep. Basically a refrigerator is how I like my house. Anyway, what have you been up to this week, man? What's going on?
Boy, not a goddamn thing. Just working and not dying.
Yeah. I haven't seen you on Facebook much, Usually, you throw me a like or two on some of my stuff. I haven't seen you on there.
I decided to stop encouraging you, Tyler.
Yeah? Well,
yeah.
You're not the only one.
No, I deactivated the old Facebook.
It's time, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a toxic cesspool behind the scenes and... Yep, the entire thing.
Yeah.
Doesn't make me feel good, ever, so...
I'm right there with you. If it weren't for like the few relatives that still, count on me posting pictures of my kid every once in a while, or that kind of thing, then I'd be right on out of there too. So, yeah, I'm with you. It's not great. Twitter's better anyway. Hey, follow us on Twitter at QuestlongCast if you wanna keep in touch with the show. But
at least on Twitter, I'm always following people I don't know personally. So when they're shitheels, it's like, oh well, just
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Everyone in the comments is randos, so you can just pretend they aren't real and then live your life.
Exactly.
That's pretty good. That's how most social media should be, I think.
Yep.
Anyway,
when I see someone who's an asshole, I don't have to be like, I used to like that person. Damn it.
That's true. Yeah, you don't have to reconsider friendships or anything so much. Nope. And if a celebrity does it, it's pretty easy. Just unfollow. All right, done with that. Thanks for playing. So, hey, what video games you been playing, man? What have you been into this week?
Oh, boy. Well, I've been back on the VR train.
Okay, all right.
VR bus.
Is that a game, VR Bus? Because it sounds pretty good.
I would play that game, yeah.
A lot like American Truck Simulator, isn't that what it's called?
Yeah, like whether you're driving the bus or just riding on the bus. I don't know. I'm flexible.
Either way, just stick me on a bus.
Yeah, put a bus in it and I'm there.
That would basically just be a sleep simulator for me, but as we discussed previous to the show, that's pretty much anywhere.
Yeah, that's weird. I can't sleep anywhere except for... in my bed or a bed-like area.
You also sleep like a vampire. You have like a... I learned this last year at your birthday. You're
outing my coven here. Okay,
I'm sorry, but yeah, this is explaining a lot. Like, the bed's maybe kind of a coffin-ish thing, and you gotta have it in order to get your slumber, Makes a lot of sense. It's all checking out.
It's just how I'm comfortable.
Yeah, I could sleep anywhere. I could go to sleep right now if I really wanted to. And it could be even one of these. I could just kind of. And then, as long as that elbow stayed strong, I could catch a couple Z's that way. The trick is, Brian, just don't get any sleep, and then
just be exhausted all the
time. Yeah, it works pretty well. It's an effective tool. It's a superpower that I earn.
We are adaptable creatures.
Yeah, humans can do a lot of neat things.
We can endure a lot.
Yeah. So, what VR games have you been playing, Brian?
Well, Tyler, I picked up one called Nog.
Nog.
G-N-O-G.
Is that how you spell Nog, as in like eggnog and stuff? No, that's just regular N-O-G, isn't it?
Yeah, is okay. Is N-O-G Nog a word? Like,
I don't know. Let's get some nog.
Is it just a suffix that goes on like other kinds of nog, like eggnog?
Are there others? Nog.
Yeah, lay it on me.
So far, not great.
No.
It's not looking promising. Nog, Wiktionary. No. Oh. Okay.
Hit me.
Well, nope.
Or don't.
Yep. Found.
Okay.
There's.
Nope.
There's some slurs that we may have just offended a lot of people. If you're offended by that,
this isn't that.
Yeah, it's not that. This is G-N-O-G, Nog.
Yes.
And what's it about?
It's a Double Fine game.
Oh, I like them. They're good.
Yeah, those are always charming and weird, and they usually end up not quite working for me. But gosh, I really want to like them every single time.
Yep, sounds about right.
This one I got on the PS4. This is a VR or non-VR game at your choosing. It's the best way I can describe it is if Yo Gabba Gabba made a puzzle box game.
Okay.
It's just super bright and colorful, and the music's really weird and great. And there's just lots of little simple puzzles to figure out where you're turning dials and flipping things over and opening drawers and
all has kind of like that clip art kind of look to it, very flat.
Yeah,
images and stuff.
It's one of those that walks the line between being an activity, probably as much or more than a game, but it's got this real cool zen kind of laid back charm to it. I like it a lot.
That's cool.
I think there are like 8 or 9 of these puzzle boxes to sort of get into and solve and figure out.
Is it all taking place in like this weird swarmy looking pond area behind you?
Nope, that's just this one particular room. If you skip ahead, there's a different one.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
It's all got kind of like that minimalist look to it where it's just very, very simple shapes and stuff. That's cool. I dig it.
Yeah, my kids like it, and I'm pretty into it myself, so I think it was $10.
Not bad. Is it on sale, or is that the normal price for it?
That's a normal price for it.
That seems about the right kind of price for something like that.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. So on the far other end of the spectrum, I played one called Blasters of the Universe.
All right.
That's a real like cheesy 80s arcade kind of theme to it.
Uh-huh.
It's a VR bullet hell shooter.
Okay. Oh,
so
damn.
Like you're standing stationary with a gun in your right hand and a shield in your left hand.
Cool.
And there's all kinds of robots and aliens and shit flying around and shooting at you. Only things that hit your head count. So you've just got to make sure your head doesn't get hit by any of the projectiles. So you're leaning and ducking and raising your shield up, and
very cool.
It's a workout. It's kind of like super hot. Like I play a couple of these and I'm sweating profusely.
That's cool though, man. You're just standing on these platforms, defending yourself against these waves and trying to take down stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's pretty cool.
Yep, it's weirdly fun. There's a lot of customization with the guns. Like there are like 5 different parts on the guns that you can swap out for different kinds of bullets or different kinds of effects.
is that stuff that you pick up through the level, or is it like things that you can just swap out on the fly?
Nope, it's in between levels. You go into the armory and
Okay.
change your loadout.
Yep. That's pretty cool.
So yeah, it's neat, but it's another one where I'm like, the VR tracking kept losing me. I'm just like, damn it, what's wrong with this thing? And I pull the headset up, and I'm like 2 feet to the right of where I started. I'm like, oh, I'm not
I've
I'm not in
drifted
front of
a
the
bit.
TV anymore. Okay.
Yeah. Huh. That's cool how they're giving you like near misses and stuff too. Reminds me of the Burnout series. You know, like I would be purposely trying to get right next to cars and stuff and get those near miss bonuses and
trying to thread that needle.
yeah, that's cool.
So yeah, it's a simple game, but
The shield mechanic is neat though. Like that kind of changes it from just being a shooting gallery to now you have to also, maneuver the shield around and block and stuff. That's cool.
right, and the shield needs to be recharged. It can only take so many hits before it fails you for a few seconds.
Gotcha. Cool, man. I'm glad that the VR train is still somewhere you want to be. That's cool.
Yeah, like Sony keeps having these sales, and part of me still misses the Switch, but I feel like I've gotten way more use out of the VR than I ever did out of the Switch.
Yeah, already. And you're getting a lot of like repeatable experiences out of this too. Like these are things that you can play for, maybe a few hours this month and then put on the shelf and then come back to again and just replay them all the time. I'm
not done with Shooty Fruity.
Yeah.
And I'm probably going to go back to Moss and see if I can get the Platinum Trophy because I just love that world so much.
Yeah. Good stuff, man. Yeah, well, you don't have to worry about being the only person completely disappointed by Breath of the Wild. And, don't have to have it sitting on your shelf charging for months at a time until something else comes along.
Fully charged.
Yeah, that's cool. Seems like a good choice all the way around.
Yep. And the other thing I've been into, it'll be our bridge game, is Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah, you may have heard of it if you've been a long-time listener of the show. Sorry. But yeah, we've been back into the Heroes a bit. I think you cracked this egg open.
Vito had mentioned a couple of times missing it, and I'm just like, I'll get in there with you, Vito, And it feels really good to be back into it. We were doing this multiple nights a week for a couple of years.
Yeah, better part of like 2.5 years. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've got a lot of muscle memory. There's also a lot of rust.
Yeah, can confirm.
There are a lot of times when like I get caught out when I'm just like, God, that was stupid. Why was I there? Like, why? Like I should have known. I couldn't see the enemy team. If you can't see the enemy team, assume that they're nearby.
Yeah, waiting for you to do something dumb. Yeah, it's so funny because, Kring and Luke and I have really shifted over to Sea of Thieves being our like go-to game that we're hardcore into, and the biggest thing on there is we're all on Discord together. We're all communicating, and we have our roles down to a to a science, and we talk all the time about how that is like why we're successful in that game, because we're constantly updating each other on where we are, what we're doing. Bottom deck is low on water, that kind of stuff. And we got into here, and I realized like midway through this match, this one that I'm showing here, we weren't doing that. We were all just kind of playing and like, oh shoot, I guess
that was always a struggle for us.
Yep, we always had trouble with that. And then there was a distinct moment where you said, I really want to kill Probius right now, and he was mid, and you and I jumped on him and killed him. And then you went, oh, it looks like Artanis is having trouble top. And then we both go up there and set up an awesome double kill up there.
Yep.
And I was like, it just clicked back. I was like, okay, yep, we need somebody shot calling and everybody on the same page, or we're just gonna flail around until we lose. So, yeah, I think it was really good to get in there and knock the rust off and be back into that.
And that's the big difference between a game like Heroes versus a game like Sea of Thieves, is you guys can have the same jobs. You guys can
true.
It's not like, oh, I'm the support this game and I'm the tank next game. Like
Right.
those are totally different duties.
Mm-hmm. Yep, everyone can help out with each other's jobs in that game, and it's really more just like managing who is where and that.
Not specialized,
that sort of thing. Yeah. I mean, it can be, but you know,
Right.
in a moment's notice, you can adapt. Whereas here, it's like, oh, if your tank is sucking at tanking,
Right.
there's not a lot you
step
can
in
do.
there.
Yeah,
Brightwing will tank for you. Don't you worry.
Brightwing's got it. Yep, she does love
We had
murder.
some real good matches too. We had some real, getting our shit kicked around early and then come back from way behind, and that always feels great.
Yeah. Yep, we had a couple rough ones, but for the most part, it was just, if we tried too many new heroes, or, it was, I'm just trying to get a quest done, so I'll play Kel'Thuzad, even though I've always sucked with him and never really learned him,
I'm rusty, and I'll play a hero I've never played before.
Yeah. It's kind of setting ourselves up for failure in that case, yeah. But yeah, man, it's cool. I'm glad that we still have that to jump back into if we, need a game to all just sit down and play, and it feels good. So yeah,
I'll kick the ball over to you.
Yeah, we I didn't play a whole lot this week, but I did get into the old Sea of Thieves again. The
Curse Sales
just came out.
Was that new this week?
Yep, Tuesday that just dropped, and that is the second large free add-on for the game, free update, I guess would be the better word to call it, where they introduce like new gameplay mechanics, a new story. This one is bigger than the Hungering Deep. That was the last one that introduced the Megalodon into the world. This one is kind of cool. They had this whole lead-up thing where they were kind of hinting at what was going on. One of the shopkeepers on one of the outposts started acting really weird, and if you went in and saw her, she was like messing with her arm, and if you looked close, you could see like her arm had started to turn all skeletal. Like you could see her bones, and it her eyes got all sunken in, and there was a guy like working on.
I have a cold.
Yeah, she would like tuck her arm behind her when you came in their shop and kind of like act weird. So the whole idea, spoiler alert if you haven't got in there yet and you're super into Sea of Thieves, I know there's so many of you out there, but they get a hold of this cannon that's off of this like cursed skeleton captain ship, and they start trying to make these cursed cannonballs, and so they're using the cannon to do that, and it all goes bad. She gets completely cursed, goes evil, starts an army, and starts a war with all the outposts. So the skeleton.
But she got her cursed cannonballs, right?
She got them. Yeah,
all right. Mission accomplished.
They've got them. So she starts this war, and basically what happens in the game is the outposts all have like a message on them from the skeleton crews that say like, "Hey, come, we're gonna be out on the seas. Come meet us out on the seas and show us what you got," kind of thing. And you go out to that specific area, and this battle starts, and it's kind of like one of the skull forts that have already been in the game, but it happens on the waves. And there's this really cool moment where the skeleton ships come bursting up out of the waves, like right next to your ship, and land in the water. Yeah, the music kicks in. It's all epic and cool, and these boats are just filled with a ton of skeletons, and you got to try to sink them all. It's pretty great. The reward for doing that is a lot. It's probably the most lucrative thing that you can do right now in Sea of Thieves. They also added an alliance system because these are extremely hard to do alone. Usually takes cooperation between other boats, and that's something that doesn't happen a whole lot in Sea of Thieves organically.
Yeah.
Kind of, I don't want to say encourages backstabbing, but there certainly are incentives to be a nice person in that game. So with the new alliance system, the way it works is you can run up the crow's nest and fly a certain flag. It basically says, "Hey, I'm proposing that we have an alliance."
Right.
The other ships in the area can then fly a flag that says, "Yep, join the alliance," and then it locks in, and you all kind of become part of the same group. You can still
that doesn't preclude anyone from
yeah
turning that around. But
yep.
You're at least announcing your intentions.
It's a tentative alliance. Yep, you can. It allows you to see the other boats that are in your alliance on your map, so you can see their positions in the world. And any loot that you turn in, the other boats will all get 50% of the value of that. So
okay,
it doesn't take loot away from you. You still get 100% of what you turn in, but they basically, like a magic 50% of that gets awarded to anyone else in the alliance.
That seems like a good alliance to be a part of. I mean,
yeah, for the most part, it is. Where
it's not just don't kill each other. It's, I'm going to get some of your loot,
right,
quote unquote, too. So
this particular event, the way it works is the final wave of this thing dumps a whole bunch of loot in the water, and it all starts to rise up. So there is still that element of like, well, we could divide this all up evenly, and everyone will still get a 50% of each other's cut, and we'll all do okay. Or last boat standing could get everything, and everyone else could get nothing.
Now, like, can you break that alliance anytime?
Anytime, yep.
Gotcha.
So that's the other thing. Like, it always feels very uneasy, and that is a direct design decision.
Right.
Like, there's times where, people have been reporting like, yep, they get an alliance, everyone gets their loot, and then one boat goes off and drops the alliance right before they turn everything in, so the person with nothing ends up getting nothing out of it. That feels like that's very on theme for, piracy in general, though. Like, any kind of truce is going to be real, like, they're bastards and so are we. Yep.
We should backstab them before they backstab us because they're going to do it.
A beautiful thing we've gone both ways in this game. Like, there's times where we just want to help everybody. Everyone's super cool to each other. Everyone splits up the loot evenly, and we're all good to go. Last night, Aaron, Luke, and I got on, and we soloed one of these by ourselves. We got the whole thing done. No one else ever showed up. Turned in all the loot. It was really cool. Just then it shifted, and what'll happen is, like, there's certain battles in different zones, and they're only active during certain times. So we finished this one with like 5 minutes to spare. Like, cool, we went back, sold everything, resupplied, and started heading to the next one. It took us a while to get there because we had to, get more supplies and get ready for battle and do all that. By the time we got there, the ships that were there were on the final wave on the captain, and we show up, sink the captain's ship. They've all depleted all of their resources. Yep. We roll in, join the alliance, get I go in and keg that ship and sink it. And now,
is that what you have to do, is sink the ships, or can you just kill all the skeletons?
You cannot kill. They'll keep respawning. Yep, you have to sink them.
Gotcha.
Yep. So we go in, deliver the killing blow, and then there's one ship that's not in the alliance yet. So we're like, can't trust them. Go and sink them immediately. The galleon that was there sinks with the captain's ship. Like, it just goes down at the same time. They got overwhelmed, whatever. There's now just two of us left. It's a sloop and our brig. And the galleon had like 14 gunpowder barrels in it when it sank. So what happens in Sea of Thieves is when your boat goes down, all the loot goes with it, the boat despawns, and then everything starts floating up to the top. So there were 14 gunpowder barrels just sitting in the water near where all the loot is. And as we're like loading up the loot, the sloop is coming over to get closer, runs over those barrels, they all explode. It rocks the boat so hard it like lifts it up out of the water. And I see this happen and I'm like, betray him right now. Just end him. Like, this is that moment where I'm like, we gotta pounce. This is our shot.
If you're gonna make it that easy,
everything. It was like watching maybe I'm a hunter and I just watched a deer get smoked by a truck, right? And it's sitting there laying on the side of the road, and I could probably try to perform brain surgery on it and save this deer, or I could fire cannonballs into it and then snipe the remaining deer parts that were still alive, and then take all the loot or jerky or whatever deers have in them out of it.
You loot the deer for jerky. That's how it works.
Yeah,
that's how hunting works.
I think that's how it works in Skyrim. You just pull all the useful meats out of it, and then you're good to go. So we got all of the loot onto our boat. So we were feeling pretty awesome about ourselves in this particular moment. It was a hard-earned victory in our minds.
And it seems like in this game, it's like, yes, you're being assholes, but it's also like that's part of the game. Like that's part and parcel with the game. So it's like it's not like trolling in some other games. I feel. Like,
yeah, we could have. I don't know. I think there's different levels, like you said. I felt like that was on theme with what goes on. Like
when you go into this game, that's what you're signing up for. So if you're going to get butthurt about that, you should play a different game. I will play a different game. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's funny because I told this story on Reddit earlier and got downvoted into oblivion for telling this story. But yeah, I think there's a difference between what we did and like the people who just camp out outposts and wait for people that are turning in stuff to pounce on them. I mean,
sure, that
feels a little worse. Or people who go out specifically looking for like new players that don't have anything on their ship and just want to kill them over and over and over again. Like we're not there for that.
You're not setting out with the intention of ruining someone's night.
No, we want a challenge and we want to get loot for it. And that's what we're after. So, but it didn't end well for us. So one of the things here, once we get all the loot on board, the event will keep running for like 4 hours. So we sink the captain. It isn't long. It's maybe 5 minutes before the next wave starts up again and the whole event starts over. And those cursed cannonballs are a real bastard because, like, this particular one, they shoot these balls over and it has an area of effect. It hits you and it makes everybody drunk instantly and makes them start vomiting. So we're loading up. The skeleton ships respawn, just start peppering us with these cannonballs. So we're all drunk, can't repair, can't get the water out of our boat. And then the galleon that was originally there comes back and just runs straight over us. And sinks our ship.
That's fair.
Yeah, so all of the loot went into the water. The catch is all that damage sunk that galleon again too. So it just turned into this like hour and a half long battle of us all trying to get back to this one point and salvage something. We ended up getting like 3 crates of tea instead of the like 20,000 gold worth of loot that was in the water. We ended up with like 900. So goes to show you, even when it looks like it's all right there, it can still just slip right out of your hands and be gone the next minute. So, but we had a blast. They were pretty upset.
That's the important thing.
The other guys were pretty upset.
Also, Tyler,
yeah.
Aren't you a legend among pirates these days? Old Ratbeard.
Yeah, Old Ratbeard's now a pirate.
Legend of Old Ratbeard.
Yeah. Yep. I did.
Scurvy bastard.
I hit max level, and yeah, it's kind of a neat moment. You go into a tavern, and any of the taverns in the game, and talk to this mysterious stranger that's in there, and he tells you, okay, yep, you've done it. Teaches you a new shanty that is exclusive to people who have maxed out all of the different reputations, and you play it, and there's this cool moment where like the floor, like runes light up on the floor, and the ground starts shaking, and these stairs kind of thunk down and form this passageway that goes underneath and takes you to the secret pirate legend hideout. It's pretty cool. So opens up a slightly new gameplay thing where you can go buy these pirate legend voyages, and it gives basically missions, quests to do for all of the factions. So it's really good if you've got friends that aren't there yet to help them gain reputation. You can drop one of those down and do those. And it gives access to reputation with a 4th faction. It has some unique cosmetics and stuff locked behind it. So,
God damn, the water looks good in this game.
Yeah, it surely does.
Best water.
It doesn't change how I play the game really, but it's kind of cool. And I guess it does. Like, I care less about turning in every piece of loot now. Like, I've joined a couple games where I just go in by myself and tell other people like, hey, you guys can get all the loot. I don't care about the loot. I'm just here for the commendations and achievements and stuff like that. So kind of takes a little bit of the, bloodthirstiness out of me, I guess. But, then we do stuff like that too. So, yeah. I don't know. I just love killing. Love killing things and people and stuff. So, that ain't going to change. But yeah, good old Sea of Thieves. It's still pretty darn good. And I think that's going to take us into some of that news. Here comes that. Hey, it's the news. And this first one's kind of a bummer, man.
Yep.
So it sounds like Apple is getting rid of a program they called the App Store Affiliate Program. And this is an article that was put up on Touch Arcade's website. It's just a bummer, man. They go through talking about how they've just been struggling to keep solid revenue streams in, and it just
like you can support us on Patreon, and you kind of have to because we don't really have any other way to get money anymore.
Yeah,
I used to use Touch Arcade all the time when I was gaming on iOS, like every week to see what the upcoming releases were or what the sales were.
Yeah,
if you buy a game through their store portal, they would get a portion of that. And
yeah, so like the idea of the website was to kind of be an editorial for what was on the App Store, and especially when that first started, that was sorely needed because there was not a good way to find new and exciting things in the App Store. It was just a big old pile of rubbish, and still is. There's still just a ton of crap in there. And
not really curated so much.
Yeah, so this was, a good way for these kind of websites to have a steady, stream of revenue for sending a lot of purchases over to Apple. They would do reviews, they would have sale lists, all kinds of stuff like that, and every time someone clicked one of those links, it's a, tiny cut. The way they describe it is kind of the Office Space, setup.
Right.
It's like
fractions of a
penny over, thousands of transactions eventually add up to something significant. So
right. In related news, didn't I just read that Apple is the first $1 trillion company?
Yeah.
So fucking kudos.
Right.
Good job.
It's kind of an extra little twisting of the knife there, especially they got this email that basically says like, hey, thanks for being a part of that, and it's going away. We're killing it, so thank you very much and goodbye.
Yep.
And it's just like he said, like the short version of that is we used to find value in editorial content such as this, and now we see zero value in it. So thanks very much, goodbye.
Yep. Touch Arcade, App Shopper. App Shopper is the other one I used to use all the time. They would just update you on sales, and I noticed about a month ago they just stopped updating.
Probably related. I think the cutoff date they said for this is October 1st. So it's a bummer. I mean, I guess it means that Apple's pretty confident that they're going to be able to curate that themselves and, get eyeballs on the apps that need it through the store itself. I don't know. I can tell you the amount of times that I even open the App Store anymore on my iPhone is minimal.
Yeah.
It's usually so many of the same thing. It's like, oh, hey, they released another Match 3 game that's apparently very popular, or some other free-to-play thing that I'm gonna spend 20 minutes on and then realize like this is just trying to suck money out of me, and I uninstall it. So
yeah, that does happen every now and again. I can get pulled into those like free clickers or just the dumb free games that are themed in a way that I like, and at most I'll play them for like 2 or 3 weeks and just be like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, this is never going to end, so it's just waiting for me to get tired of it. And that's happening right now.
Yep. Yeah, so it's a bummer. And, hey, whatever, that's Apple. They're winning capitalism, clearly.
Yeah, good job.
But also kind of fuck them. Hey, Nintendo released Their sales figures, dedicated video game sales units numbers. This
that's
is
a weird
interesting
thing
as
for
fuck.
Nintendo to do because they're always a real like closed, you know. We're
Yeah,
gonna hold our information close to the vest.
I never think of
Japanese
Nintendo as
companies
like,
tend to be that way.
hey, they're super transparent and very in touch with their community. That's not something I think about when I think about Nintendo.
Yeah, not
So
that much.
this is kind of cool to see, though. It's super interesting to see like the. I would have thought the GameCube and the N64 would have sold so many units, and they are dwarfed by their handheld consoles, and especially the Wii. Like the Wii is the outlier. That's the home entertainment system that just blew everything out of the water.
Nintendo was on a steady decline ever since the NES until the Wii.
Yep. And even then, the DS absolutely smashed it as far as units sold.
And 3DS.
Yeah. So
I mean, part of that's longevity because it's been out for I don't know how long.
right.
15 years.
Yeah. Yeah, the DS has been out for a long time, and I think still has stuff coming out for it every once and again, does it not?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Yep. In Japan, like mobile gaming's a lot bigger thing than, you know, sitting on your couch.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. You know, people spend a lot of time in public places, and living space is limited. People have a lot of extended family living at home and stuff like that, so, you know, having a console on the TV that you can spend a lot of time on doesn't usually add up over there. But yeah, it's interesting, and I can see now why the Switch is what it is. Like, they're trying to blend what makes them so successful with the 3DS and the DS and all of their handheld systems ever.
Trying to combine both of those markets, and it seems like they've done it. Like the Switch is still a little unwieldy. It's you know, it's not the DS, but
yeah, it's big in your hands, that's for sure. But I don't know, man.
Feels good.
It's brilliant to me. It's how I use mine almost all the time. Even if I'm at home, it's in handheld mode. So I think they're onto something with it. And
the poor Wii U.
And then the poor Wii U. Yeah.
It felt like a prototype in between the Wii and the Switch.
Even still, though, this is kind of an interesting metric. Like, the Nintendo Switch has sold more units than the Wii U already, and it's you know, a little bit over a year old. But the Wii U software sales are still higher. So the people who had them really loved them and bought a lot of software for them, apparently.
I wonder how much of it was just the marketing. Like, the Wii U, what the fuck does it mean? What's a Wii U? What's U stand for?
I know, man. It's so bad. It's so bad.
Like,
I can't
that
tell you.
Seems like the prototype name that they just never bothered to change.
Yeah,
It's a university? That doesn't make sense.
I have to imagine that it was like a play on the whole
Wii and
Me.
U.
They had the Mii's,
Right.
and yeah, it was like supposed to be like, okay, well, what about the Wii U? Because it's, you know, it's yours. It's your personal little thing. You got this tablet, and I don't know.
That doesn't play.
It doesn't, and I can't tell. I used to work at a big box retailer, and I can't tell you how many times people came in thinking that was an add-on for the Wii, and that it would like, oh, do I have to have a Wii for that, or is that, you know, how can I just get the handheld thing? They thought it was just like a thing they could hook up to their other console because
I already have a Wii. I don't need that.
Like. Yeah,
just give me the controller.
Just give me the controller, and can I just get those games now? Doesn't work like that. So yeah, seems like they're moving in the right direction now, man. They're, you know, we're climbing up there with it, but
yeah,
we'll see. I think it's cool that they're releasing stuff like this. I hope they continue that trend and keep being.
I'm glad Nintendo's there to be weird and release weird things, because that's the kind of risk I can't see Sony or Microsoft ever having taken.
Yeah,
be like, you know, we're going to do this weird, goofy hybrid thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they've always done weird add-ons and shit. Like, I had the Game Boy Advance add-on that snapped onto my GameCube. They had those expansion packs for the N64 controllers. Didn't those snap into the bottom of the controllers?
They had the Rumble packs, and then they had, I'm trying to think what else they had. The expansion pack was something you actually installed in the console that gave it like visual, like a power upgrade. It was was like adding more RAM to it,
more
basically.
RAM for your N64.
Yeah, it was crazy, and you actually like. I remember that blowing my mind at the time because I was like, well, they had to have planned for this because there's a panel that just pops off the bottom
Right.
that you would never know was there unless you went looking for it. And I was like, holy shit, yeah, there's just this port in here, and you just take out the thing that was in there, pop in this new one, and it's like, oh, cool. I was actually right in the top of it. I want to say it was right by where you put the cartridge in, and yeah. Once that's in there, like there was tons of games that required that. You had to have that in order to play them. Donkey Kong 64, I think, was one. Perfect Dark was another.
Mm-hmm.
There was a couple of them.
The N64 was the first analog stick. Like, the controller was a nightmare, but
It really
innovation,
is.
Yeah.
Something new. They didn't stray too far from it, too. I saw a post later on that was like the Wii controller is basically just, the middle finger of that trident.
Yeah.
Is just that. That's what the nunchuck is. So there's parts of it that were good, that were salvageable. So hey, that's neat. Hey, in other news of companies that are pissing people off this week, Blizzard.
Hey.
Blizzard done made people angry. Blizzard's getting ready to release a new expansion for their World of Warcraft. Don't know if you've heard of it. It's kind of a big game. People care a lot about it. There's been an event that we've known is coming for a very long time, since BlizzCon last year, I think. They revealed that the way this war is playing out is basically the Alliance is going to be swept out of the main Horde continent, and the Horde is going to be swept out of the main Alliance continent, and they're going to be like fully at war proper. And the event that kicks that off is the burning of Teldrassil, which is the Night Elf capital. And for a long time, everyone's like, Sylvanas is not going to just go in there and burn down Teldrassil. It's going to be something else. There's going to be another person or a reason or whatever. And they released the cinematic short last week that's basically like, nope, she's just a piece of shit. And a lot of players are super upset about it. It kind of makes it hard to be a Horde player, because it's like, wow, our leader just committed genocide. We are the bad guys now. Like, there was a lot of blood and honor and glory, and
yeah, I saw that.
That was what makes the Horde the Horde. Yeah,
and they were like, for honor. It's just like, no. That's all gone now.
We kind of can't really claim that anymore. Being a Horde player myself back in the day, and probably in the future, it didn't sit real great with me either. I stopped short of writing death threats to the writers of the Warcraft story, though other people's didn't.
Good on you.
Yeah, it's weird. It's this crazy human thing that I have called empathy, where I am able to, discern that other people have livelihoods and things like that are valid, and sometimes they just write stories that I don't like, and maybe I can be okay with that without having.
They made the video games wrong. They made the video games wrong, and they need to die.
Yeah, someone must pay for this. Yeah, it's silly. So don't do that, kids. Hey, here you go. Here's a little life lesson from your buddy Tyler at the Quest Log. If you're upset about a story, don't threaten to kill people over it. Pretty easy. Maybe just don't do that. Maybe go take a walk.
Yeah.
Do drugs. I don't know. Just
stick your head in the microwave. Something.
That instead would be better. Yeah.
So is the other half of this event going to be like the Alliance doing an equally vile thing on their continent?
It sets up.
They
released a really cool cinematic, like a fully CG cinematic called Old Warrior, which features kind of like the de facto orc leader right now, which is Saurfang. He's like one of the oldest warriors. He's been in countless things over the years for Warcraft, and it's kind of him reconciling with that, going like, there's no honor in this. He's pissed because he's like being denied his honorable death. Now he feels like So he's going into this thinking like, yeah, this is all fucked. I'm just gonna try to get out, and I don't know. It's kind of a moving thing. You should check it out. I think it's called Old Warrior. But yeah, the Alliance brings everything they got to the Undercity and is getting ready to reclaim Lordaeron for the Alliance, and that's all happening right now in World of Warcraft in the lead up to the Battle for Azeroth expansion that comes out on the 14th, 10 days from now. So yeah, if you get in there, you can be a part of it. You can check it out yourself.
Just trust Blizzard.
Yeah,
They've been doing this a while.
Chris Metzen tweeted out, who recently left Blizzard Entertainment, I want to say like a year or more ago. He used to be in charge of the story and direction of all that stuff. He voices several of the characters. He knows what's up. And he kind of said, like, there was this cool thread where people were talking about him, and said one time he made this analogy of, like, you might not always like the story beat, like the thing that's happening right now, but just trust that we have a bigger picture, a bigger story that we're trying to tell. And that's why this franchise has lasted for over 20 years and, you know, is still bringing in new players and still having this active of a community and that sort of thing. So, you know, it might not be for you right now, and there's definitely been times where it hasn't been for me. Like the whole Mists of Pandaria expansion, I was like, no,
you
thanks.
Could be a panda bear, Tyler.
Yeah, I don't want to. Thanks, I don't want to. I'm gonna skip that one, thank you. And I did, and it was fine. And I came back for a few of the other ones and really, really enjoyed my time there. So I'm interested to see how the story is going to play out. Like, this is actively making me want to get in there and see what's going on. And I don't know. I have faith that Blizzard knows how to tell a good story, and they sure as fuck know how to make a good looking cinematic, because this thing looks really, really cool.
They always do.
Yep. So yeah, I'll be checking that out hopefully soon. I want to get in there before all of this kicks off and see how it leads up. And I'm a big lore nerd anyway, so this is all right up my alley. I want to know what's going on and check it all out. So be looking forward to that. If you if you want to hear how it goes, I'll be checking that out pretty soon here. But yeah, hey, that's gonna do it for the news. You know what that means, Brian?
I do.
It's a topic. It is a topic. And tonight's topic, Brian, you came up with this one. Games that you've hit the all-in moment with is how I tried to word it.
Yeah.
Seems like I think that kind of encapsulates what you're talking about.
Yep. There have been several games where I'm intrigued by it, but usually it's getting difficult or it's about to get difficult, and I realize that I'm going to have to put genuine effort into it. And I either jump in or I drop it.
Yep.
I'm usually glad when I jump in, but it takes time and effort.
For sure. What's an example of one of those games for you?
Yeah, I've got a few examples of both of those. A little game called Heroes of the Storm is a great example.
That was one that I was going to bring up. Yep, I figured you would too.
I'd never played a MOBA before, and I never wanted to. I know they had the reputation for just being a breeding ground for toxic, awful people and behavior. Mm-hmm. So it seemed like something I didn't want to get into, but Heroes was new, and I already knew all the Blizzard IPs. And I tried it a little bit, and wasn't really for me. And then, Tyler was like, hey, this Heroes of the Storm game, what do you think? I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, yes. Maybe it'll be less bad with a friend.
It's so funny because
later it is.
I was I remember when I first built my computer. I've told this a bunch of times, but the reason I got into PC gaming in 2012 was for Diablo 3, because I've been hearing my whole life about how great Diablo is and how it's so cool. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to miss out this time. I feel like I missed a huge part of gaming history by missing out on Diablo 2, so I'm not going to be there again. And I got Diablo 3, and it was not very good at launch.
Yep.
And in addition to that, I had not had a background in playing ARPGs from, the isometric third person, 3/4 view camera. Mm-hmm. And so that was very, very jarring to me. And so, same thing, RTSs, I didn't really have a background in playing RTS games. I was very much about third person action stuff or first person or whatever. Anyway, but I so Diablo came and went. It was fine. I had friends that kept telling me about League of Legends. I tried it, hated it. And then I was listening to Scott Johnson on every single podcast that he does from the Frog Pants Network talk about how into Heroes of the Storm he was and how he couldn't quit playing it and how he felt the same way. He had no interest in MOBAs. He sucked at them, hated that whole thing, didn't want anything to do with it. But he hit this point where it just clicked and he got it. And he loves all the Blizzard stuff, and so do I. And
his
so
enthusiasm is infectious. He was talking about like playing WoW again, and I'm just like, God damn, that sounds good.
Yep, he is. He's a very good salesman, and so I was like, I got to try this thing out. And that's when I sent Brian a message because I remembered playing Diablo 3 with him. I'm like, seems like a thing that Brian might be into. He likes, he likes Blizzard stuff. I know he used to play WoW. I was like, if there's anybody that could maybe get into this with me, maybe it's Brian. So, yeah, posed that, and then we both played it until we got to those click moments where it was like, okay, like, this is really hard and we suck at it really bad, but it's really we finally found heroes that we can do something with, and that
it was like, I'm going to start listening to podcasts and reading articles and watching videos and learning how to stutter step, and that's all work I have to do outside of the game. That's all, brain processing power I have to spend on it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Sea of Thieves is one for me, honestly. I know it doesn't seem like it because I've been so excited about it for so long, but I think it was the third skill test that we were in together where we were really trying to get into some combat with people, and it was hard. Like, we were trying to fight this galleon, and I mean, it was like watching toddlers fight with pool noodles or something. Right. We're just getting close to each other, missing all of our cannon shots, and then taking 5 minutes to turn back around and make another pass and then miss all our shots. And I was just like, Jesus Christ, this is so much work. Like, we're having to maneuver these sails, move the boat, all that stuff. And I don't know, but I was just having so much fun being in that world that I was like, I gotta get this. I have to get this game. And so I did. I put in the work. We put a lot of work into learning how those cannons work, and now I can hit. If it's within range of the cannons, I can hit it. I'm really, really good with the sword. Like, I spent time looking up articles on, like, oh, here's all the cool moves that you can do. You can, juke left and right. You can kind of hop. Lunge. You can do these lunges. You can, if you do this, it cancels the delay like this much sooner and all that kind of stuff. I just kept doing that. Anytime I'd get just roasted by somebody, I'd pay really close attention to how they did it and then go learn how to do that myself. Like, just recently there was a guy who would use the Eye of Reach, the sniper rifle, and he was just no scoping me and then hitting me once with the sword, and I was dead. And it happened to me like 3 times in one night, and I was like, fuck it, this seems cheap, I hate it, but I got to figure out how to do that in case I encounter it. And so I spent a good hour dicking around on an outpost just practicing shooting without using the scope and no scoping different targets and things like that. So yeah, that's like, it's made me way better at first person shooters. I'd played a bunch of Overwatch and Halo over the years and stuff, but Sea of Thieves I have down to a razor's edge right now.
It's a good feeling.
Yeah,
it's a good feeling. I think Monster Hunter World is my other example, because the first few hunts were pretty easy, and then I came up against a monster that just floored me, and it's like, oh shit, now I've got to study its weaknesses and change up my gear. And
which one was it?
Like, plan accordingly. I think Baroth is his name. He's just a big fucking, I don't know, like a big old rhino-looking monster covered with rocks, and he's real hard to hit. And it was just like, this is fun, but Brian, I've got to work at this thing now.
Earlier in the week in the hangout, you started throwing out feelers for Monster Hunter World because it's coming to PC pretty quick here. And I've just been going like, la 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 la, I don't want to get into another game, super hardcore, and this one's like real Japanese, there's weird little cats in it, and I was just trying to let my brain not get latched onto that. And the big kicker for me was like, every time I looked at this game, everybody looks so stupid in it anyway. That's a
Mismatched armor.
It's a dumb thing for me that I'm like way into. I want to look cool in a game, you know. And this is what I'm working with in real life, okay? I don't want to look stupid in my game time too. All right, I gotta.
That's not why we play.
I gotta look cool somewhere. So, I finally started just like digging through armor sets and stuff online. I was like, oh, there's some really cool ones though.
Yep.
So I was like, okay, Brian, yep, let's play Monster Hunter World. I think I'm sold on it. I think I like it.
It's cool, man. Like your gear looks like the monster that it came off of.
Yeah, so just get through the butterfly stage. If you need the butterfly stuff, then that's fine. But we just gotta start hunting whatever that molten Diablo looking thing is, because that looks really cool.
Diablos, yeah.
Diablos. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I'm gonna try to get a copy of that when it comes out on PC. It seems like it would be worth my time. So
I will gladly lead you through that because it ain't gonna hold your hand. It's not gonna tell you shit. I've
played a lot of games like that lately, Brian. Yep. I'm starting to think that I got a thing for masochism here.
Yeah,
I like a lot of hard games these days. So
yeah, and like I added a few onto my list that I didn't commit to.
Yeah,
Kerbal Space Program.
Oh yeah, I've heard.
I was like, that's a really neat, unique, weird thing to exist. And I played the first tutorial out of like 30. And I'm just like, okay, nope, I can't. I want to, but I can't.
You're adorable.
Crusader Kings 2 was another one. Like those big sweeping 4X games. Mm-hmm. I'm finding I don't have the time and patience for those anymore. Just learning all these systems on top of each other.
Yeah, survival games can be that way for me. Some of them, like I was hardcore into Rust. We got way into that one. That was another one that was like, boy, this sure is an unforgiving game. But that had some kind of magic sauce on it. Maybe it was that you could run around with your dong out. I don't know.
That's a big part of it.
It was a very big selling point.
Can't do that in real life.
But like a few of the other ones I've tried. Subnautica is like a good example. Like that was a really cool game and had a really good first impression on me, but it felt like there was so much to it, and I just couldn't like.
All the different crafting, like 5 of these makes one of those, and then 5 of those makes one of the third thing, and I don't have much patience for that stuff.
Yeah, if it happens organically, like while you're playing and you have other objectives, that's one thing. But like. Mm-hmm. That game is very much about, no, you need to search out these exact things because it will open up new areas once you have these upgrades and things. And there's definitely a part of my brain that can engage with that. It's kind of what happens with a Metroidvania. You have to like seek out certain upgrades before you can get to new areas. But I don't know. There was something about the amount of things that you can find and the amount of different ways that you can craft things was a little overwhelming, and I was like, I don't think I can put the
and I don't know what's important and what I should throw away, and it's like, oh, my bags are full and my storage bin's full, so I gotta craft a new storage bin, and I don't know if I'm gonna use any of this shit.
I got 20 slots and they're all full of acid mushrooms for some reason. I don't know what to do with those.
Jellyfish and acid mushrooms. Do I need these? I don't know.
Can you just eat them and get weird? Have a weird night on the acid mushrooms? I don't know. We'll see. Apparently you can use those to make batteries, I found out.
Yeah, science.
There you go. Yeah, squeeze all the acid into a piece of metal and you got a battery. That's definitely how that works. Yeah. I think these types of games are the ones I find the most rewarding, though. Like the games that make you make that call where it's like, okay, I require you to learn this. There's a set of things here that you must commit to, and it's like once you cross that threshold and do that, there's something there. It's just do I want to go get it or not? I'm sure if I put the time into Kerbal Space Program, I'm sure it would be amazing. But and it's with multiplayer games especially, I think there's something that comes out of being able to display that progress, like that time and work, where you can tell when other people haven't put it in.
Yeah, when we're playing Heroes, it's like I can tell when someone's very casual.
Yep.
Not
And
that I'm
there's-
great or anything, but
Especially, I'm remembering that Infernal Shrines game where we were getting just tore apart by their butcher at the beginning of
Yep.
the game, and there was a moment where he just did something so stupid that we're like, oh, he either gave up, or
nope, I remember
that's
it was
AI,
very
or like
it was very late in the
something.
game. He was just like laning by himself and didn't really run away when we showed up. It's just like, oh, this dude's just having a big old hissy fit.
He's having a hissy fit, or he quit, and that's an AI now, or
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, there's a moment. So yeah, there you go. Well, I think that's going to do it for this week, everybody. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for being a part of episode 88 with us. We're going to be right back here next week. Hopefully we'll have the rest of the crew as normal, talking about more games, talking about more stuff. Who knows? Maybe Luke will have some crazy birthday stories. Maybe Kring will be able to tell us about all the yard work that he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be great. Episode 89, it's the one where it all comes together. You can find the show at questlogcast.com. You can find us on Twitter at questlogcast. You can hear more of the cool 8-bit video gaming music that you're hearing right now from Visitor over at visitor.us. I think that's going to do it. Find us wherever podcasts are made. Find us on YouTube. Click a like. Click a subscribe. Smash that subscribe button.
Smash that subscribe button, fam.
Do it. Do it for us. Do it for love. Do it for the future. Anyway, that's going to do it for me. Have a great night, everybody.
Take care.